Hey, what's happening, everybody? Saturday night here in the Twin Cities after the Gophers' narrow loss to Penn State, 26-25. I just think we set the bar too low. I mean, moral victories are nice and all, but this is Division One college athletics. I know NIL has put everything in a flux. It's made it difficult to maintain rosters, but you know, in Minnesota, we just sit here and we cheer. We cheer for a loss. The Gophers are either going to finish 7-5 or 6-6, and our victory dance is potentially over Wisconsin's grave next week. And yeah, don't get me wrong; it would be great if the Gophers beat Wisconsin and prevented the Badgers from becoming bowl eligible for the first time in 23 seasons. That would be cool. But I mean, if that's the bar, what are we doing? I don't get it. I mean, the Gophers had a chance to win this game, and you can blame any number of things. You can blame Greg Harbaugh, the offensive coordinator, and PJ Fleck, both standing tall at the podium afterwards and saying that it was a brilliant decision to throw the ball on a trick play on second down in the red zone to your star left tackle, who I don't know if he's ever caught a pass in his life before. It sure didn't look like it. And by the way, if he did catch that pass, he would have had to go 10 yards to the house. And the guy he would have had to beat to get there is All American candidate Abdul Carter of Penn State. So that's a potential top five pick that he would have had to beat. I just don't think that's going to happen no matter what. And if, of course, if that play worked, everybody's a genius and it looks great. But it's like they got goofy with the double reverse flea flicker touchdown from Brosmer to Jamison Gears late in the second quarter. They had the blocked extra point taken back. They blocked a punt. There's a lot of goofy things that happened, and they worked in the favor of the Gophers. And it's like they tried to push it one too far with that trick play in a clutch situation. Yeah, down 26-22 with a chance to take the lead with a touchdown. Man, that's just I'm sorry, that's a stupid play call. It is. It's a low percentage play call. Like the odds of that actually working are so small. And you called it. And then at the end, I don't know if I can share my screen here, but at the end, Flex at the podium and he's like, "Yeah, man, I would do that again all day long." Let me see if I can share this quick. This is just crazy to me. Let me see. Let me see. Present. Yeah. I have no idea what I'm doing. Present. Share screen. Let's go to Tony Liebert, his page. Let's see if we can play the audio. There we go.
They got players everywhere. I thought we had a really good game plan. I thought we executed it really well on the offense, defense, and special team sides. Um, in the back of your mind, you know what's going to find a way. You know what your team can do with their heart, their spirit, how hard they play. We've been in now 7 one-possession games. That's the new Big Ten. The ball's not round. Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. The measure of a person is how they respond to it. There's a lot of tears in that locker room because of how hard they play, but Penn State found a way to make one more play than we did. And it was a great football game. Sometimes you got to step out of the head coach role to appreciate a game like that because that's a really good college football game with 2 really good teams. I said we're 3-4 in one-possession games, which I told our team we're just as good as anybody we've played or lost to. Just as good. Just got to do it. And that's not – I don't think you all have a job to do, but I don't think anybody would disagree with how close we've been in a lot of areas. But when you turn the ball over 2 times and Penn State doesn't, I mean, if I would have told you we're going to turn the ball over twice and they're not going to do it at all, I mean, none of you probably would have picked us to begin with. There's a lot of things that you look at after a game. You got to evaluate everything, starting with me. And I got to look at every decision I made and evaluate it, but there's no hindsight. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in I could have, would have, should have. I'm sure there's a lot of things you want to ask me about, which I'm gladly to answer. No such thing as hindsight. You make the best calls in the best situations, and some work, some don't. They had a bunch of plays that worked, some didn't. And, but I couldn't ask for anything more from the football team and what was just displayed on that field. And we're past moral victories and things.
See, he He set the table. He knows it's coming. He knew the question was going to be there, and of course he knows it's coming. Your trick play failed on national TV, and you're shown crouching on the sideline with a grin, like, "Oh yeah, man, that was close. I'm excited, but it didn't work." You still had a chance to win, but you couldn't get the stop on the fake punt late in the game. But I mean, he knows it's coming. 3-4 and one score games. You're not just as good as every team in the country. You're not. If you were as good as any team in the country, you'd be 6-1, maybe at worst 5-2 in one score games, not 3-4. And think about it. A lot of these one score games are against. Let's go to the Gophers schedule. I mean, it's not like you're playing the fourth ranked team in the country every time this happens. One score game, North Carolina, 1917. That's a terrible team. Uh, you didn't have one score game against Iowa. You got your doors blown off in the second half. One score game at Michigan. Yeah, you could have won that game if the controversial offsides call on the onside kick, which the Gophers recovered with like a minute 40 to play, hadn't gone against them. But you still were down like 21-0 in that game. You didn't play a complete football game. Good teams, the best teams in the country, play four quarters. Rutgers. I mean, come on. Come on. That was they were reeling, and sure they've gotten it going the last couple of weeks here, but you got beat by the guy you couldn't win with at quarterback, Ethan Kaliak-Manis, and he shredded you. So, you can blame Darius Taylor's being banged up against Rutgers and missing Tyler Cooper on the offensive line all you want, but the best teams overcome. The best teams have guys who can step in and play. It's just not the case. So I don't think you can honestly look yourself in the mirror if you're PJ Fleck or anybody else and say, yeah, we're one of the best teams in the country. We can play with the best teams in the country. You're on the same football field, but the results suggest otherwise. So let's just hear what he had to say to finish it off.
Things like that, but I love where our program's at because, like I said, you have 7 one-possession games. We played 11 games. We've blown 2 teams out. That's the new Big Ten, and we're in every single game. We got a chance to win every one of them, and they made one more play than we did. So I got to go back and evaluate why, and make those changes. And got a short week. Coaches being in the morning, and we'll get healed up the best we possibly can, and bust out to Madison. So with that, open up for questions.
Okay, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, they're just not. They're not as good. I never thought Penn State was that good in the first place. I mean, you see what happened to Wisconsin. They go to Nebraska and get their doors blown off. Braden Locke is like the poor man's version of, I don't know, I guess Sam Darnold's a fair comparison because when he's on, Locke has a cannon and a good quarterback. But, man, he turns the ball over a lot. When he's bad, his floor is very, very low, and that's what you're seeing with Wisconsin. So Wisconsin gets blown out, but they almost beat Penn State on national TV last week. That was the night game on NBC. I think that actually screams, hey, Penn State, you're not that good. You're not the 4th best team in the country like the rankings suggest you are. Go ask USC when that game went down. Penn State had to rally and beat USC in overtime. I don't care if it's in Southern California. That's what happened. So, the 4th best team in the country, if you're 9-1 or 10-1 at this point, you're not struggling against Wisconsin. You're not struggling against Minnesota. You're not struggling against USC. You're blowing teams away. You're doing what Texas does. You're doing what Tennessee does. You're doing what Georgia does. A 6 or 7 win season, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. We should expect more. And I hope people would agree with me and change their viewpoint on things. I mean, it's big-time college football. If the Vikings were hanging around 500 and sneaking into the playoffs every single year, heads would roll. For some reason, college football still gets away with the fact that, well, it's college athletes, it's student athletes. What's changed? It's changed significantly. Players are getting significant money to go places. I mean, there's scholarships. It's big business. NCAA made it that way a long time ago when they sold out to all of the bowl games. It'd be nice if we had a D2 or D3 style tournament, but that's not happening. Too much money from Tostitos and Duke's Mayo Bowl and all of this. You know, if you're gonna act like a big business, you should be treated like a big business, and the bottom line matters. And if you're not winning at a higher level, I don't know, maybe something needs to change. I guess that's for everybody to decide. I'm not grumpy or anything. I think I'm just being real with it, and I think the bar has to be raised. Expectations need to be higher. And if you go look at the roster for the Gophers, oh man, there's a lot of seniors. There's a lot of seniors. The senior day was busy over at Huntington Bank Stadium. So if you're expecting a big jump up in talent and production and wins next year in this new Big Ten, where a lot of one-score games occur, I don't think you're going to find it. I guess maybe Fleck and company can prove me wrong. All right, talk to you later.